Welcome to my YouTube channel. It's your girl, Courage Molina, faith coach, pastor, and everyone's favorite Bible teacher. I help purpose driven women just like you to build extraordinary faith so they can become bolder, more confident, and take the actions to courageously level up in their life, business, and faith. Build wealth and leave a legacy of impact. I'm so glad you're on my YouTube channel. Go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Okay. Hit the little bell so you get notified when I drop a new one. I drop a new one every Wednesday. You don't want to miss it. Okay. So let's get into today's episode. So, as a faith coach and a pastor, what do you think the number one question I get asked? I get asked this question at least once a week. Drop it in the comments. You guessed it. What Bible do I recommend, or what's my favorite Bible? So I thought I would do a video and share that with you all today. So before I give you my recommendations, I just want to talk to you a little bit about study Bibles in general. So study Bibles are all going to have study notes. These study notes you can typically find at the bottom. They're also all going to have an introduction for each book of the Bible. They'll have some resources and some tools throughout. They may have maps, profiles of people, characters in the Bible, and so on and so forth. And so what you find in the study notes and the resources and the tools is going to depend on the type of study Bible. So when you're trying to decide which study Bible is best for you, you really want to consider what do you want the study notes to focus on? Okay, so consider that. Just think about that while I share these 3 study Bibles with you. Okay. All right, so the first Bible that I want to recommend to you is the Life Application Bible. It's actually the Bible that I recommend the most. And the reason I recommend it the most is really because it's to help you learn how to apply the Word of God to your life. And I think that we begin to trust the Word of God more when we can see its relevance and its power in our lives. Then we really start to lean more into going into the Word of God. We can go to church, but if it doesn't make sense when we are studying it, then we just don't know how to apply all this wisdom. And there's so much wisdom in the Word of God. So that's why I always recommend the Life Application Bible, especially if I don't know you, right? Because you're going to see these study notes, and these study notes are specifically about how to apply the word to your life. So you can see here are the study notes at the bottom. There really are a good amount of study notes in this particular Bible. Not only does it have great study notes that will ask you questions about what you've read and how you can apply that, we also can look at the introductions. The introductions are amazing. They give you just a little bit of background. It tells you who the author is, who the intended audience was, what the objective of this book is, the location or like geography of it, anything else that's important, some of the key people, just full of information. And here in the introduction, not only does it give you those great highlights, but it's really setting you up right from the beginning to, as you're reading the word, start thinking about how it might apply to your life today. Absolutely love that. In the back, there are lots of resources that you can see, and these resources are good to help you learn how to study. If you are going to be in ministry studying the word or preaching or teaching the word, it has some great insights here as well. Here's another part that I love, the personal profiles or like the character profiles. Absolutely amazing here. Gives you a little insight into the people that you're reading about so you understand a bit of their background as well. All right, that's one of the Bibles I recommend all the time, the Life Application Study Bible. If I don't know you or what you're interested in, that's my go-to, right? It's just where I started, so it's my go-to. All right, next up is the John Maxwell Leadership Bible. I've only had this Bible for maybe like 3 years. It wasn't the first Bible that I started to study with, but the reason that I recommend it is because I truly believe that we've been called to lead. So once you get a good foundation and footing in how to study and understand and apply the word for yourself, I think it's important for you to recognize that God is calling you to lead. And unless you've had some leadership training, this Bible is great to help you understand what leadership is and what it isn't from a biblical standpoint. If you know anything about John Maxwell, you know that he is like the guy for leadership. When you look at the introductions in this Bible, you can see that while he does give you some introduction, you can see on the side here, there's some leadership things that he immediately brings to mind that sets you up to think of this particular book from a leadership standpoint, right? From a leadership perspective. Also, the information that you see on the inside of the Bible, some of these pullouts, these boxes here are about or reference his laws of leadership. Just absolutely amazing insight, helping you to really break down the leadership things that you can see when you're studying any particular book of the Bible. And then at the bottom, you see some of these study notes. These study notes, again, are talking about what? Leadership. I truly believe that God has called us to lead. And if you are ready to acknowledge and step into a leadership position, whether it's for a business in the marketplace or in ministry or in your community or even in your home, then I definitely recommend the Maxwell Leadership Bible. Okay? All right, and the last Bible that I recommend, last but certainly not least, I've had this the shortest amount of time, and it is the Cultural Background Study Bible. Now, I talk all the time about the importance of context. This Bible is absolutely amazing because what it provides for you is a cultural understanding of the first listeners of the word. We know that the Bible was not created or written to us. It was written at a particular time for particular people who understood the cultural nuances of the time. Right? So it was written, the illustrations that are used in the word, the examples that are used in the word of God, the parables, all of these things, you see a lot of agricultural things. I don't know what some of this stuff means because I live in the 21st century and I have not been on a farm. I've not had livestock. You know what I mean? And so just some of the examples and illustrations that you see in the word of God to bring home a particular lesson or principle, it doesn't always hit the same for us because we're so removed from the culture, or sometimes we're offended because we don't understand the culture from which it came. And so let's take a look inside this amazing Bible. You can see the introduction. It gives you the author and it gives you who the intended audience is. It gives you some background and just some general information. It also gives you some interpretive difficulties that you might face, right? So absolutely amazing. When you look at the study notes at the bottom, you can see here that these study notes are, first of all, they're vast. There's plenty. You can see the sides of the Bible. There are plenty of study notes here, just really explaining the culture, the understanding, not just the time of the event, but at the time that it was written, or some things in history that came together to like bring the Bible itself together. Just some amazing insight. I love the illustrations in this Bible. And the reason I love the illustrations in this Bible is because it is historically and culturally accurate. You know, a lot of times when we see pictures portrayed of Bible characters or people, historical figures from the Bible, they are like blonde hair, blue-eyed, European style. And that's just not historically accurate. So I absolutely love this. I love that it's in full color, that a lot of the pictures are also like what seems to be photographs. I love the way this Bible has really come together. So those are my 3 recommendations: the Life Application Bible, the John Maxwell Study Bible, and the Cultural Background Study Bible. Those are my top 3 that I recommend. And I'll tell you which is my favorite. Can you guess which my favorite is? Go ahead, put it in the chat. If you think you know which of the 3 Bibles is my favorite, then go ahead and drop it in the chat so I can see if you get it right. Okay, here it is. This is my favorite Bible, Cultural Backgrounds. The reason it's my favorite, I'll tell you. One is because I'm like a 5-year-old and I love my newest thing the most. And this is the newest Bible. This is the newest addition to my Bible family. But also when I choose a new Bible, it's usually because like my wanderings and my time in the Bible have led me here. So a few months ago in church, I taught on Ruth, and there were just so many references that I had to look up. I had to Google and search because I wanted to get an understanding of the culture. So when it talked about barley season, I don't know how long barley and wheat season is. When it talked about the threshing floor, I don't know what a threshing floor looks like or what a threshing floor is. I've never heard of it outside of the Bible. And so I just did a lot of research on the culture and background to prepare me to teach on the book of Ruth. And I started thinking like, oh my gosh, every time I learned something about the culture that I couldn't find in my study Bibles, it really helped me to get a better understanding and truly to be a more effective Bible teacher. And I thought, wow, I wonder if there's a Bible out there that has that. And it was this Bible. So that's why it's my favorite. So I hope that you've loved these recommendations. All right, so I've recommended to you my top 3 Bibles, and I'd love to hear which Bible is your favorite Bible. If you're going to get one of these Bibles that I recommended, I'd love to know which one you get. The link is in the description to all of the Bibles, so you can get whichever one or all 3 if you're like me. You don't need to get all 3, but you can get, the best one for you at this time. I hope that this has been insightful and helpful, and I hope that it gives you, really a Bible that you can use, that you can get excited about being in the Word and applying it to your life, like allowing it to really transform your mind. Just that's what the Word is for. Absolutely amazing. It will transform your whole life if you let it. Okay. And so that's why it's important to have a study Bible that really speaks to you and resonates with where you are. If you are not interested in life application or leadership or background, but you are in a different phase of life and you'd like for me to give you an individual and personal recommendation for you specifically, then just hit me up in the comments and I will recommend a Bible for you. If you're like, well, no, that's not really my thing. I'm really right now interested in this. And so I'd love to get some biblical insight on those things. Just drop it in the chat and I'll get back with you and let you know what I personally recommend for you in that case. All right, that's it for me. If you love this, if this has been informative, is that good? If this has been informative, I don't know if that's good. But if you like this video, how about that? If you like this video, go ahead and like the video, share it. And now it's time for us to hop on over to the A&O channel where Amber and Olivia are going to give us something amazing. I never know what it's going to be, but I always know it's going to be amazing because they're amazing. So I'll see you over there in the chat as TGIW continues, and I'll see you back here on my channel next week. All right. Oh, wait. Don't go, come back. Wait a second. I was supposed to invite you to church. Man, you know what? I promise you it's an amazing experience. Here, the link is up here, bit.ly DOC Bible study. Come join us for church on Saturday morning, 8 a.m. It is women only. It's a global online church. Absolutely amazing. Talking about getting excited about being in the Word of God, you will definitely do that in this community. So go ahead, sign up. It's free. And the first Bible study guide is on me, so you don't have to worry about that. So now I'm going to go see you at A&O. And I hope to see you on Saturday in the DOC Community Church. All right, that's it for real this time. Love y'all. Later. Bye.